Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing fantastically well. It is Connor here, One Leeds, and we are back with the second recording because I screwed up the first recording. It went on for 30 whole minutes, everybody. We're not going to treat you to that much because we have lives, but go check out Mike's preview. We've done a preview together on his channel. Some great interactive Everton content over there, and we're going to provide you with his thoughts on not only Everton, but Leeds United. Michael, how are you doing, mate? All right?
Always full names me straight off the bat. My God. You forgot 2 and 1 as well before we went live there. He always does that, everyone. Behind the camera, he goes 3 and then he can't count 2 to 1. Yeah, I'm good. I'm dreading this game. I'm dreading it. I think it's a game. If you'd have lost last night, I'd have felt a bit more comfortable. But being 3-1 down and not dying really annoyed me, actually. So I'm dreading it. Mrs. is off to yoga there. So bye, love. Yeah, I'm not looking.
Stand up for you, this, isn't it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, you come on. You've got Leeds fans sitting here in awe of this egg in this hoodie here, and you lot absolutely love it. You're laughing it up. Make sure you go and subscribe to Blue Boys Network, and you'll have more content just like this of me absolutely losing my fruit and barley after Leeds twaddle 17-1. Can't wait for it. Rafinha from the left-hand side, no doubt. Right-hand side, cuts in on his left foot and sticks it into the bottom right-hand corner of Pickford's goal because he always does that. So, no, genuinely, I'm dreading this game.
Yeah, I do get the I do get that impression. It was a good result for Leeds last night. I think we've spoken about it multiple times now. What was it about that, Mike, that you took away? Obviously, because I know you watched the game. Obviously, you're Birmingham based as well. You know a lot about Villa. Obviously, they set up in a certain way, and I think everybody nationwide sort of thought that it was going to be a tough evening for Leeds. What do you take away from it, mate?
Yeah, I actually, so obviously being a Brummie, I've got a lot of friends that are Villa fans, and actually a lot of Villa fans were saying that this was going to be a tough game. Leeds are not going to roll over. They give a lot of credit to Leeds, obviously, and again, this isn't digging out Leeds, but you know, the last result, I think it was at home to Newcastle, and I don't think that went great. Well, it didn't go great. But even in that game, you pretty much battered them, at least for the first half, and probably deserved to win the game. So there's never an issue with Leeds not turning up, apart from maybe the odd occasion, and I won't mention the side that you got dicked to at the start of the season. But, you know, the other one, the 7-0, you just have these blips, these games that you just think, oh, that's a bit weird. But actually, in terms of everything else, in the 3 games, poor games you've played and you've conceded 17 goals, the rest of the games you've actually done all right. You've not conceded loads of goals. You score goals. I think you've got 27 this season. So I expected a good game of football. I expected a very good Villa side. I mean, you look at that Villa team now with the quality they've got in it, and you know, no bones about it. You know, I genuinely think Villa's going to be pushing the top 8, top 6 next season. I really do. I think they've got a very, very good side. And if they don't, they're going to be in a similar issue to what Everton have got, spending 600 million and being absolutely horse. So, yeah, I thought Leeds were great, and I thought they attacked from the front. I really thought Dan James was really impressive, getting in the spaces in between the 2 lines, picking up the ball when he needed. Rafinha was quiet, I thought, but Jack Harrison stepped up. I thought Llorente at the back, I thought he did a good job. I thought Stoic, whatever he's, I can't pronounce his name. I'm a bummer. Steps. 5, 6, 7, 8, and all that. I thought he was good as well. So, and then you've got a really good goalkeeper in goal. So look, Leeds, I'm not going to say Leeds were brilliant inside. Man for man, they're not. They may have some players that some Leeds fans would deem championship players, but they don't die. And that was abundantly obvious last night. And I think it was a really good result when you're going away to Villa and you're going to come away to a Goodison Park that is going to have to be a cauldron of energy and loud. And it was perfect for Leeds to just get a positive result. And you could arguably say you should have won the game.
Yeah, I thought the atmosphere last night was very very sort of symptomatic of what it's going to be like at Goodison. It was hostile. It's a cauldron. Villa Park's a good stadium, isn't it? It's good noise, good fans, and all this sort of stuff. So they were well up for it. Obviously, another Gerrard home game, Philip Coutinho's first full game as well. So yeah, similarities in a weird way to what it's going to be like at Goodison. But as you can see above you there, Mike, the Premier League form table. It doesn't look good at the minute for Everton. Obviously, a thumping at the hands of Newcastle, and I will say thumping because I thought Newcastle fully deserved it. We're looking at this game, mate, and I guess team news wise, what can you tell us about this game?
I can give you some exclusives. No, I can't really. But no, Yerry Mina's out. It looks like he's out for 4 weeks, so you ain't got to worry about him. Ben Godfrey's out. So again, you've two best defensive players, in my opinion, are both out. Mykolenko tested positive for coronavirus on Monday. So he may be back, he may not be back. Who knows? Defensively, look, if you watch the Everton Newcastle game, you know how poor we are defensively. That they weren't brilliant, but they just cut us open. And Saint Maximin, let's be fair to him, he on his day, he's a very, very good footballer.
Unplayable, mate. I was watching that and I was thinking to myself as well. He's done that to the best of players. Luke Ayling. He's come up against Luke Ayling several times. I'm not saying he's the best of players, but he does it against every single team. When he gets going, it's impossible to stop.
Yeah, and he just dominated us. We had no answers. There was at one point there was 5 Everton players around him, and he beat all of them. So defensively, I worry. And look, I understand Leeds have had injuries. You've had injuries all season. You always have injuries. You've got such a small squad that it's actually abundantly obvious when you have injuries because you haven't got a Bamford coming in. Rodrigo was brought in as a striker, plays midfield as a number 10, kind of, sort of reads between the lines. You've got that flowing attack where Harrison and Rafinha will sort of swap sides, and it's all very nice. It's all very good and very aggressive. But from an Everton perspective, I don't quite know how we deal with that in this game. And this is why, if you was to say to me right now, how do you think the game's going to go? I think it's going to be high scoring. And it's just who outscores who, because both teams are capable of scoring goals.
I think we've spoken about it before, haven't we, in terms of your threats? And I do like Richarlison. I do like him.
In the 30 minutes before we recorded this one, actually, the one that no one's going to see. Splendid.
Yeah, in the archives. But I think Damari Gray's a standout. I think he was a standout at Ellen Road in terms of an Everton perspective. Scored a really nice goal as well on his left foot. What key players are we looking at? Is it Damari? Damari Gray might not even be fit for this one, Mike. And obviously you're looking at a DCL return as well.
Yeah, there's going into everything else. Andros Townsend is Everton's top goal scorer. So when look at your initial reaction there. Every single Leeds fan there is smiling at that. Like they're smiling. Calvert-Lewin's been injured a lot of the season. He's been coming back. He's played bits and bobs, but he hasn't looked anywhere near the player he was before his injury. And you expect that. He was out for 5 months. It was a long time. So I'm hoping he's back to some form of level and he can cause Leeds problems. Richarlison's been poor, and actually he hasn't just been poor this season. He's been poor for the last 2 years. So it's worrying that we may not be able to get down your right-hand side, or Richarlison might have to play through the centre. I don't quite know how we'll set up because we've brought in these attacking players, but that means we're going to be weaker in midfield when actually we were absolutely horrendous in midfield anyway. So Ali and Donny van der Beek coming in, we don't know what they're going to be like because, let's be honest, who does? Dele Alli's barely played a game. Me and you spoke off air. Well, we spoke on Tuesday night about Dele Alli's performance against Newcastle from an Everton perspective, and let's be honest, it was shocking. Like it was shocking. It was terrible. We give him the benefit of the doubt. It was his first game in the blue shirt. I'm not going to sit here and criticise him, but we need to see more. Donny van der Beek played in a 6, and we both know that Donny's best position is a 10. So, are we going to play 2 up front with Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin with Donny behind? Are we going to play a diamond and have an Ali and a Damari Gray or a Townsend or a Gomez and then Allen behind? Because if that's the case, you're sticking 5 attackers and 5 defenders against a Leeds press, which is dangerous in my opinion. So, yeah, honestly, from an Everton team perspective, I've got no idea how we're going to set up. I've got no idea of the team. But what I do know is Leeds will find gaps, and the players that they've got, the quality that they've got, the little proficient passes in the middle, I think you'll cause us problems. And this is why I just sit there and think this game could be 5-5 for all I know.
Yeah, and I think we saw it at the start of the season as well. I don't know if it was a little bit different. It did seem as well that Rafa was sort of a little bit more conservative, but we know Frank's going to come out because Frank hates Leeds and Frank wants to beat Leeds. So, and it's a home game. You know, we heard that from Steven Gerrard last night. He wanted to entertain the fans, but for Everton, it's more than entertaining the fans. And I'm talking as if Leeds are out of it. We're not. Well, I mean, we're 4 points off you. I think we're 6 points, 6 or 7 points off the 18th spot. So we're nowhere. We are nowhere near out of it. But I do think that Lampard's going to come aggressive in this game, and I think he's come up against Bielsa now so many times. It's so many times. I mean, you look at all those derby encounters we had, Chelsea. You think that he's going to have learned a few things, but on the contrary, Mike, I do feel that, because of your system at the minute, which I don't really know what it is, the players that are available, the fitness, and just the general feel around Everton, I think it's going to be a tough game for Everton. It just depends if Leeds can remain defensively solid, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. I think what Leeds are going to go into is a Goodison Park that's going to be loud. It's going to be aggressive. It's going to be hopefully painful for Leeds, and I don't mean that in a physical sense. I mean that in a hostile environment. Maybe there is a few harder tackles. Not. I'm not wishing any injuries or anything, but
Mason Holgate,
you might. Yeah, we will be. Yeah,
that's good. We'll get a red card there then.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that statement tackle that in the first couple of minutes that says, "Look, you're in a game here." Because Everton don't have that. They don't have that fighters. They don't have 11 fighters on that football pitch. But what they will have is 40,000 Everton fans pushing them, absolutely screaming them on. Because it's actually got to the point now where we don't trust these group of players to stay up. We don't. But what we do trust is us as fans to back them. And if we back them, there's always been a bit of a history with Everton that if Everton need a goal, there's always been this thing with the fans that we'll get it for them, we'll push them, we'll drive them on, we will drive them to play better. And we haven't heard that enough over the last 5 years because we've been so disappointed. We've spent so much money and failed in so many ways. So going into this game, this is a real moment for Everton. This is a shit or bust game, and I don't mean to swear on the channel. I apologise, but it's absolutely imperative that Everton win this game. And that I like Leeds. I like you. I like the fans. I've got all the time in the world for Leeds. I'm not one of these fans that goes dirty Leeds and doesn't like Leeds. It's not the case at all. I like Leeds, always have. Ever since watching Mark Viduka, Alan Smith, Harry Kewell, when you were playing, in the Champions League semi-finals, you used to always put them games on ITV and listen to Andy Townsend going on about it. Loved it. All the time in the world. But Leeds are a nightmare to play right now. And actually, if there was any two teams I wouldn't want to play in a row, it would be Newcastle, buoyed by spending money. The fans buzzing to get back in the stadium and see a completely different Newcastle. Bruno Guimaraes signing £50 million coming on, all of that.
Yeah. And
then going up against Leeds, who Frank and Leeds, it's like adding water and electricity. It doesn't work, So I'm dreading this game. It's massive for Everton. If Everton lose and Norwich or Newcastle get a win, we're in the bottom three. Everton Football Club, and I'm not saying this as in we're a massive club because I don't. But Everton Football Club, £600 million later, have gone from sixth with Lukaku, John Stones, Ross Barkley, good footballers, to 18th in the Premier League with no real hope of staying up, really, because our running's so bad. So, dreading it. I'm terrified of this game.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, is there a likelihood that if Leeds, I mean, we had this at Newcastle earlier on when it was Steve Bruce and it was toxic. It was absolutely toxic, and unfortunately, Leeds weren't able to. I mean, we drew 1-1 with Newcastle, but we got the first goal and we weren't able to capitalise and add 2 and 3 and 4. Newcastle got back in it with St Maximan, who started to run the show, and it turned. But my question is there a likelihood that if Leeds were to score first, then Goodison would turn?
No, it won't go toxic now. If you were looking at a Rafa Benitez as Everton manager, I think the stands would fall apart. I think the fans would be on the pitch. I was at the Norwich. Honestly, I was at the Norwich away game when we lost 2-0. 2-1. Honestly, I've never been in a more toxic area in my life. There was fans running on the pitch, everything. Under Lampard, we've got to stop sacking managers. We've got to stop, judging these managers on signings of previous managers, previous directors of football, we've got to stop doing that. We've got to trust Frank. And I'm not saying that because I think he's a phenomenal coach or a brilliant manager. Everton Football Club have got to change because what we've done in the past hasn't clearly worked. And if we go down, it means we've got to rebuild. We've got to sell some players. We've got to do the financial elements, whatever it takes. We're meant to be having a 57 or 50, whatever size in the end it fits, it finishes. I might have just given a bit of an exclusive away there. So Everton fans, don't read into it. It's 52,888. It's not going up, maybe. But there's a real worry that if Everton go down, they've got to fund a £500 million stadium. They've got a group of players that, let's be honest, aren't built for the Championship. It's not going to be easy. So we've got to allow Frank Lampard time. He's built a really good backroom staff. Clement come in, and I think me and you both spoke about how good of an appointment as a coach he is. He's got Ferguson there with the passion, so that's not a negative. He's got some of the Chelsea backroom staff. Now, in my opinion, if you're a backroom staff at a club that's probably the third best team in the league, you probably say they're pretty good. So there is hope that Everton can get it right, but it does start on Saturday because it needed to start on Wednesday. It needed to start at home against Villa. It needed to start away against Norwich. There's so many times we're going to get the opportunity to win and get points and move us away from the bottom three. And we need a gap. We need a 7 to 9 to 10 point gap before the last 6 or 7 games of the season because our running. I know our running. Any Leeds fan that wants to look now, have a look at Everton's running. It's horrendous. So, to answer your question, it won't turn toxic, but there is a realisation that if after 95 minutes on Saturday Everton lose, I think there'll be a very strong realisation that Everton are going to be a Championship club next season.
Finally, mate, score prediction.
17-17. No, all jokes aside, and I'm obviously going to say this because it's hope, and I'm not digging out Leeds at all. I think Everton have to win, and I'm going for a 3-2 Everton win. But I caveat that with it really wouldn't surprise me if this is a high-scoring draw, and it really wouldn't surprise me if Leeds win. I just hope that Everton win, and that's all I can pray for. This egg doesn't want to be cracked too early.
Yeah, I'll stick mine on there, guys. You've heard it on the debrief anyway, but I'm going to go for a 2-2. I think it'd be a decent point for Leeds. We've got a lot of tough games coming up, but I do look at that Spurs at home game and I think, I don't know. I think maybe we could get something there. So obviously that is sandwiched with Scum and Liverpool. So it's not ideal. But listen, I think there's definitely points to pick up for Leeds.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Because I completely forgot to ask on my preview, and I actually wanted to ask you this.
Come on.
The young lad, Gerhard, my pronunciation is shit. We already know this. How good is he? And will he play against Everton? Because I unless I was missing something last night, I didn't hear his name called much, if he even played.
Yeah, I don't think he will, mate. I think it's gonna be as you were, really. The good thing is we've got 2 ex-Blues going back there. You've got Gelhardt, and then you've got Forshaw as well. Forshaw coming back into it. There's a potential that he will start. Obviously, this will be a big game. Go on.
Gelhardt was an ex-Blue.
Yeah, I think Everton released him. Yeah, Everton released him.
This football club, man. This football club.
Everton released him and he went to Wigan. There you go, mate. He went to Wigan and that's where he applied his trade and we got him for $1 million. So yeah, you've got two ex Blues there. You got Forshaw's the big one as well. It'll be his first time back at Goodison.
Is he a good player, by the way? Like, is he like? Because obviously we didn't see him as Everton fans, and when we come off the bench last night. And I know he played a few times for you in the Championship, but I don't remember him much in the Premier League last season. And is he a good player?
Mate, he was out for 2.5 years. This is so he's only had sort of 10, 11 games back, but he's basically cushioned Calvin being out. He's been absolutely brilliant. There's an argument he's been more consistent than Rafinha in terms of performances per 90. He's been phenomenal. It's almost like he's got something to bite, to get hold of. I need to prove my point. I need to prove that I am worthy of this. I am a Premier League player. And he came on last night. I think he's been injured, so he's just come back. The good thing is it looks potentially like Junior Firpo as well. Our big signing from Barcelona is going to be back on the left, which means Dallas is going to be able to go in his natural position, central midfield. So we have got a few options there, mate. And at the minute, it's looking like the big one, really, the big gap is Bamford. But against the Everton back line, which is a little bit mix mash and all this sort of stuff, I do think a pacey Dan James, similarly to Mings and Konza last night, against maybe a Holgate and a Keane or a Branthwaite and a Holgate, whatever, he could cause them some serious problems. But in answer to your question, mate, Joe Gelhardt wasn't mentioned because we were applying the press, and Dan James is so quick applying that press, and I think we're making it into a chaotic game. Gelhardt is just the talent that gets hold of the ball and runs at the defence, and I think if Leeds are struggling tomorrow, they'll bring him on, and boy, on at the weekend, and boy, will he have a point to prove.
Yeah, your issue from a Leeds fan perspective, and for you guys, is going to be players like Anthony Gordon. I didn't mention him in my preview either. I mean, I
was actually going to mention Anthony Gordon. I can't believe he's not been mentioned.
He's the sort of player that will not be scared. He's a Blue. He's an Everton fan, and weird as it sounds, he's probably only the one that only seems to give a damn, and he does give a damn. Like he tries to break the channel. I'm not going to say he's the most skillful footballer in the world. I'm not going to say he'll carry the team.
But imagine in a man-for-man system where where it's all about beating your man and then you create space, he's going to be a problem, isn't he? He's aggressive.
Yeah, that's what he's going to look for. He's going to look for that space in between you, say, your left and your right back and your two centre-halves. He'll look for that little gap in midfield when maybe you push and you leave that space in between. He will be the one that will pick up that ball and cause problems. He isn't brilliant yet. I definitely think there's a player there. I think he could be a really, really good player, but he's still very young. He's 20 years old. I'm not expecting him to be a world beater yet. But if anyone can get a tune and really cause issues in that side, if we've got no Damari Gray, it will be Anthony Gordon. And he will be the one that will be feeding Calvert-Lewin. He'll be the one that will link up with midfield. He'll be the one that will carry the ball. It'll be interesting to see what Lampard does, because Donny van der Beek and Dele Alli have got expectations. And as you rightly said, you mentioned it with the two Everton lads, Forshaw and Gelhardt. When players have got a point to prove, they usually turn up and play their best. And I just think maybe a Dele Alli and a Donny van der Beek at Goodison Park might be a different set of players that we saw at Newcastle. Mm-hmm. It's a hope rather than a guarantee, isn't it? It's a hope. You hope they do it. But we really have to press you really high, play through your press. And if we can do that, I like to think we'll get a result.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to leave it at that. 25 minutes. Said won't go on for this long, but we have. Make sure you go check out Mike's channel. Do it as well. It's definitely well worth it, especially on the expectation that potentially Everton will lose this game. I'm sure Mike will be pure entertainment after that. But yeah, his channel link will be in the description below. Guys, have a lovely Thursday, and we will see you in a